Thank you so much for being willing to volunteer for our Market Days program. We absolutely cannot run this program without you. This is the second year of Market Days. The first year was very much an on-site program, making sure older adults in our community could get access to fresh produce. They would come to the Larimer County Farmers Market. This year, because of COVID, we've had to change how we've operated, and now we're working on getting produce bags to lower income older adults, either on their doorsteps or through community sites that our community partners has set up. Ultimately, Market Days has sought to facilitate access to fresh produce for older adults and to break down social isolation. And while that was easier to do when we could gather last year, we are still looking for ways like putting kindness notes into bags of produce that we deliver and making phone calls and staying connected to the folks we are serving in this program. For just a little bit of an update on the Market Days program, click on that YouTube link before. It's a really short video. Allison and Emily, our wonderful farmers market extension farmers market coordinators, will take you on a little tour of the market and share what the farmers market and Market Days is all about. And that's a great orientation if you haven't seen that video already. And then just to point out, this is not a project happening only within a Larimer County extension, but we're a partnership. We're working with the Partnership for Age-Friendly Communities, with the Larimer County Office on Aging, with the Food Science and Human Nutrition Department at Colorado State, and the Senior Access Points Project, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in a bit. Last year was our initial year of Market Days, and we brought older adults who were low income and needed access to fresh produce. We invited them to the farmers market, gave them produce vouchers, let them shop with our vendors and pick out exactly what they wanted, $20 vouchers. We designed a Market Days tent where we offered resources that supported aging in our county and nutrition ideas. We had cooking demos, and it was a great space for people to hang out. They could get walked around the market with volunteers, and students would show them how to make purchases with our vendors and a little bit more background on the vendors. So there was a lot of different stuff going on last year, but again, because of COVID, we have had to change our model so that we delivered the produce to the older adults. Now in 2020, we are doing things radically different for Market Days. You can see in these pictures how we utilize volunteers to shop with our vendors. They pack $20 worth of produce in individual bags, and then volunteers go and deliver these bags. We also have a project that's writing kindness notes and getting those put into the bags. We have all sorts of fun goodies in the bags that are supports for older adults here in the county. And a lot of people are stopping by our tent at the market just to check in and find out what it is that we're doing. But ultimately, our mission now is to get the produce to the homes of the older adults or to community hubs where the older adults can pick them up with the help of our community partners. We have a lot of people working on this project, but chances are when you go to the Market Days tent, you're going to run into Callie Lemaster. She is our Market Days project coordinator. You can see her there. She's always got those pink sunglasses on so you can find her. She's really integral in organizing our volunteers, getting folks to help pack, organizing the deliveries. She's been on the front lines of this project since day one. She's actually doing her master's thesis on Market Days. And here to the right, you can see Cheryl Noble. She's our Senior Access Points project coordinator, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Senior Access Points in a little bit, but that's the program that's helping to connect older adults with aging-related resources. You can ask either either Callie or Cheryl any questions you have while you're at the market, and they are incredibly knowledgeable and helpful. So how does this work? We work with about 10 community partners who we've been working with for a while through Senior Access Points. These are the folks that know the people in the community. They can identify those clients who are low income and who are 60 and older who need this access. So they send us lists every Wednesday of the clients that are going to need to get produce. These clients can get produce up to 2 times a month. So Callie compiles those lists from our community partners, and then she works with a range of people to get the rest of this organized. We have volunteers that show up at the market around 8:30. They shop, they get the produce, they pack the bags. And then there are volunteers that do the deliveries and help us either get the produce bags to community partner sites somewhere in Larimer County, or do some direct drop-offs to the doorsteps of older adults. And so we let you know what we're needing every single week. Some of you may be working regularly at the market to pack and shop. Others of you may be working to transport. But every week looks just a little bit different because we have partners that are identifying clients that might be different every week. And so we help to set up transportation routes and a process to get those bags to those individuals. We also utilize volunteers at our tent to staff the tent. As we've been there longer and longer, we have more curious people coming up asking what Market Days is about. It's a great way to inform our community about this program. I've had people just hand me money wanting to donate to Market Days. They're really excited to see this program. And then we have volunteers there to help us also share aging-related information. Again, I'll get into that a little bit later, but it would be a missed opportunity to not have some of our magnets or our rack cards available just to be able to point people in the right direction for their parents or their grandparents or their neighbors or friends if they need some help. We offer $20 worth of produce to the clients that we serve every time they receive a bag. And the produce varies from week to week. The volunteers shop based upon what is in season. This money goes directly into the vendors' pockets, and they choose produce that is varied based upon color, based upon fruits and vegetables, based upon what we've offered in previous weeks, and try to introduce people to a range of produce, and as well as making sure that it's produce that's palatable, produce that we think even beginners can utilize in their cooking. There are a lot of beneficiaries of our Market Days program. Of course, the most obvious is the recipients who receive the produce every other week on their doorstep or through their community partner. Volunteers probably benefit a lot because it's such a great opportunity to get out, especially right now where there are such limited options to volunteer. We do great social distancing. We really make sure to ensure the safety of everyone. And if you're a transportation volunteer, you don't even necessarily have to come into contact with folks. But we also are really benefiting our produce vendors. They are selling directly to us for the Market Days program, and they are receiving fair market price. We've received grants from the Next 50 initiative from the Larimer County Office on Aging. Those 2 grants have allowed us to purchase a lot of produce during the course of this season. So there are so many people who benefit from this program. And we're so grateful to our community partners. So there are housing catalysts in the northern. These are housing communities for older adults. The Partnership for Age-Friendly Communities is a grassroots organization that helps to organize startup projects to support age friendliness. Meals on Wheels program integrates the produce with their meal deliveries. The Larimer County Office on Aging serves so many folks in this community. Crossroads Church has really stepped up, and they're actually a distribution hub site, and they're reaching a lot of members within their church. A Little Help in Berthoud, in Loveland, in Fort Collins. They serve older adults and match them up with volunteers. They're able to get this produce out. The Grand Family Coalition supports grandparents that are raising their grandchildren. And Lago Vista Mobile Home Park is another partner, and they're able to distribute a lot of produce to the older adults that live in that community. Hopefully you've been able to watch the Market Days video and you've met Allison and Emily, who are both the market managers for the Larimer County Extension Office. They are so critical in supporting Market Days. They organize everything about the farmers market, but you can always find them on site on Saturdays, and you can say hi to them, find them in the extension, under the extension tent. You've been introduced to Callie Lemaster and Cheryl Noble, our project coordinators for Market Days and Senior Access Points. And my name is Sue Schneider. I am a community development agent with the Larimer County Extension Office and the lead for Senior Access Points, and have been working on this project since the beginning. We are all available to answer questions. If you want to get involved in different ways with the farmers market, we're all open to having those conversations. And as I mentioned before, we couldn't do this without generous funding from the Larimer County Office on Aging, the Next 50 initiative. Bath Nursery has donated bags and all sorts of gift cards and supports for us this year. Aetna has been a supporter as well. And so everyone working together has really been able to make this happen. So when you get to the farmers market tent, you'll see a table cover with a SAP logo on it. You'll see the tent that has the Senior Access Points logo on it. And you'll see some magnets and then pens and other materials with Senior Access Points on it. Just to give you a little bit of a background so you can represent Senior Access Points, because what we're also trying to do along with getting produce into the hands of older adults is making sure folks know where to look for aging-related resources. Our project started in 2016. We recognized that older adults and their family members don't often know where to turn or look for when a crisis arises. We don't want people to start looking for resources only when a crisis arises. So we want to get this information to them and have them be aware of where the resources are in their county. There are a ton of great resources, but we know that people need help finding them. So we've developed a website. It's larimerseniors.org. We direct people to the Larimer County Office on Aging phone number, which we have on all of our materials. And we have a whole coalition of people that is delivering education and awareness about aging-related resources and supports. This gives you a snapshot of what larimerseniors.org looks like. This was actually pre-COVID. Now it looks a little bit different because we have a ton of really great information that can support older adults manage the difficulties of COVID. But there are these resource categories that you can see. As you scroll down through the website, you'll see 9 tabs. And these are really based upon research we did of what people tend to look for the most. So go to larimerseniors.org, take a little look around, get familiar with the website because you'll find there are some great resources on it. And just for you to be an ambassador or an advocate for this resource in our community, it's community-based, it's community-run. We get feedback and update the website all the time. Take a look and just be familiar with it. You'll see on the Market Days table as well that there are magnets to your left-hand side of this PowerPoint slide. You can see what a magnet looks like. All we're trying to do is get out larimerseniors.org, that website I just shared with you, and the phone number below it goes directly to the Office on Aging. They have options counselors that man the phones. Actually, at this point with COVID, they're not actually at their office, but they respond to people very quickly. Any kind of questions about aging-related resources, long-term cares and supports, those options counselors are ready to support people wherever they are. So please know that's what that phone number is for. Share it with anyone who might benefit from it. We have all this material in Spanish, as you can see the rack card on the right-hand side. So if there's ever a Spanish speaker that you encounter that might be interested in receiving this information, we've got plenty of rack cards and magnets, and you can pick those up at the tent, or you can contact any one of the Market Days staff for this information. Again, we all want to thank you for your contributions to this project. You really make a difference. You can reach out to any one of us. I've listed our email addresses here if you have questions or ideas on how we can improve the project, if you want some Senior Access Points outreach materials, or if you've run into a neighbor or someone who might benefit from being part of the program. Just let us know whatever you need. We're here to support you, and thank you so much.